Alrighty, welcome. Should be good to go. Looks like the mic's all set up. Just wait for people to log on, say hi. Alright, should be. Hey Matt, hey Finn, hey Delwyn, how you guys all going? Griff, Bruce, English or Wits? So Bruce, I wouldn't be going just because who knows what's happening with that situation. I'd be waiting a couple of weeks of seeing him play before moving in on him. English, I think, is the pick if you believe he's a keeper. Otherwise, I'd go Wits just because he's going to make probably the most money. Matt, who to get rid of for Cripps out of Berry, McGovern, Ward, or Durden? McGovern is the one I'd probably move on out of those. I think Berry will outperform McGovern. Ward should make enough money, even if it's not 150k. And then Durden, I'm confident will get there as well eventually. Theo, all in on Heaney. I'm not all in on Heaney. I'm not getting him this week. As you can see from the team, he's not in my trade plans. But I don't think there's anything wrong with getting him if you've got Cripps and Hewitt already, who I didn't have. I'm keeping Witt. Yeah, I got rid of Ridley instead. So yeah, Travis, I'm trading Ridley over Whitfield. That's partly because of money problems for me. So it has to be Ridley that I'm trading. I think I probably would trade him anyway. Whitfield has got a fair bit of it, even though he hasn't played great the first couple of games, and GWS as a whole hasn't played great. So I think they can bounce back, and he can bounce back and score well. He had 88 fantasy on the weekend, even though it just was 70 Supercoach. He had an uncharacteristic couple of clangers. So yeah, Whitfield to Heaney, surely. If you can find a way to get Whitfield to Heaney in this team, I would love to hear it. Spray is a captain choice this week. Who do they play? The depleted West Coast, right? Yeah, he'd be a captain choice for sure. Looking forward to putting time. Me too. Me too. See if the doggies bounce back. That's the only team we've got so far, right? Oh, we've got a second team. Oh, no. A couple of them have started to load. Sweet. All right. So Bruce, Stein, Peatling, Keefe, Lloyd, Riccardi, Brander, Flynn. Oh, Bruce has just come straight in for Flynn. This is interesting. I thought they were going to play two rucks, not bring one in, take one out. So, this is like very reminiscent of last year. I wonder if this means it's Bruce's spot to own if he has a good game. And then on the Gold Coast side, Lockie Weller in, these two out. Okay, that's interesting that Riccardi and Brando both dropped their like forward line and defense. So Peatling's wasn't he like kind of cheap? 242k, not that cheap. And then Brisbane North, so Robinson in after his suspension, Sharp out, who was their sub right, and then Pryor. Berry is named on a wing. Sounds about right. Then TT and LDU both out. This should mean that Horn Francis gets a fair bit of mid time this week. So not that I don't think anyone would be benching him, but yeah, I'd have him on the field. And then Bonner was the sub. Lazaro omitted. So did he have concussion? Is that why he was out so short? And then Stevenson was dropped last week, so interesting that he's straight back in. Guess just sending a message. They should get dominated by the line, so. And Neil looks like a very good captain choice with LDU and TT both out. Let's refresh, see if we've got anything else. Yep, got a couple more. All right. Carlton Hawks, so Chera back in and Martin back in as expected, and then Boyd, Young, and Parks. Now, Boyd is cheap, 123k defender, but I think he's playing forward. And then Parks, 199k defender, like 200k. And then Mitch McGovern injured. Oh, I mean, I don't think there were many people that were holding him, but if you ever needed a reason to trade my Gov out, then that's it. And then McDonald injured. And on the Hawk side, Tom Phillips admitted. And then you've got Will Day back. Where's he named? Ooh, so potentially he doesn't come straight back in. How have they done this? Yes, I think these top 4 are the bench, and then these 4 are the extended bench. So Long, Howe, Kaziski, and Day. A lot of people had Long as a loophole, so I wonder if he's close to getting a game for real. And then on the Blues side, it'll be Kennedy. It'll be Kennedy, Martin, Chera. And then Pitnet. Sorry, Pitnet. So these 4. And then so Boyd and Parks aren't actually playing. Grimes, Rewalt, and Rioli. So Rioli won't play. This bench will be hopefully Ralph Smith, but maybe not with Grimes coming back. It's interesting. And then Cooper Sharman admitted. Let's see what's going with this bench. Hopefully it's these first 4 and Hayes plays another game. Yeah, I think it's the first 4. I'm pretty sure it's the first 4. All right. That's giving me some hope. Get another refresh going. All right. Don's D's. So these 2 were both known. This is not surprising. Dev had like 3 disposals and no tackles or something like that. Oh, sorry, like webcams covering a few of the names. Yeah, sorry. It's I'll try and scroll up the screen a little bit so the teams are at the top then. But yeah, I'm not smart enough to fiddle around with the webcam on the fly, or at least like where it sits on the screen. And then Francis omitted. We've got Phillips, Shield, and Nick Martin. So we're playing double ruck. Phillips in the forward line. Draper. So, I mean, we've played Baldwin, Francis, and Phillips trying to find a ruck forward solution in 3 weeks in a row. Tex is getting a game this week. Good on him. Actually gets a proper game at full forward. Ridley named on the interchange again, exactly the same as last week. Nick Martin is named where? Where are you, bud? On a half forward flank. Cutler on a wing. Oh, enemy. He just should be depth. Like the fact that he's best 22 for us at the moment is a sign of where Essendon's at. And then Durham named on the ball. I mean, this is just a bit of tomfoolery. This will get mucked around. Caldwell in the centre. So for fantasy players out there looking for someone, yeah, it's pretty good. I doubt lineup plays for Saints now that Dougal's back. Oh, that's. I thought he was all right last week. Oh, he had a few up and down moments, but. All right, yeah. So MyGov. Definitely trade him out is the big news. And then no change for D's. They're going to absolutely destroy Essendon. Fair enough. All right. So Sin being omitted is bad for my fantasy, but otherwise, like, I don't think anyone in Supercoach land traded him in yet off 0 games, which is good. So Laird back in is big for the Crows with Sloan obviously out. Pedler omitted, Murray omitted, and then Saligo, who was the sub. I don't know if they'll give that to him again. Hinge hold, which was as expected. Jordan Dawson's named on a wing, but who knows if that plays out. And then, yeah, McEntee, who was one I had in my team right until he didn't get named round 1. Looks like he's finally getting a go. And they've put him on the bench. And then Mays as well, who was one that we were keen on at R3, but that was only if I think Lysette didn't get up, which he obviously has. All right, so Collingwood Cats, Maynard back in after his 2-week suspension, and then McKinnison, who was one that we were looking at in the preseason, but obviously hasn't got a game until now. McCreary injured, Kruger injured. That's a shame, and then Brown out. And then SDK back after his concussion. That's great news. That's some cash generation. Get that going. And then Dalhouse, Narkle, Guthrie out. Poor Guthrie. It's good to know that SDK's ahead of Guthrie, though. That's useful. We've done these. Am I missing anyone? We must be... Oh, there's no West Coast Freo, right? So is that all the teams? Oh, it's all the teams. There's not too much shock in there. So McGovern's the big one. But then... Oh, and then what happens with Hayes in this game is going to be interesting as well. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I already traded McGovern out. Do I get the lights now? Let's see these lights. Hey, JD, who are you currently cutting of Rids and Whitfield? I'm cutting Rids, but it's my only option. So my trades this week are Ridley to Hewitt and McGovern to Cripps, which I think are pretty nice trades. I'm not going out of my way to get Brody in for Berry or anything like that. So, yeah. And then Dixon, we don't know if he's playing. Hayes, I'm pretty sure he's going to play, but we'll see. I've currently got Rochelle and Martin fielded over him. Rider name, do I keep Hayes at R2? I wouldn't be playing Hayes at R2. I think you're going to leak a lot of points with Hayes R2. So that's a fantasy move right here that you got, Hayes R2. But I can move him on to Bruce next week if Bruce looks good. So this is my fantasy team, by the way. I'm 356, so I started off pretty well on this one. I basically just picked all the dumb selections for Supercoach, and it worked out really well in this format, which is pretty funny. I need a set of vice captain. That's going to be surely Brayshaw C this week. Let's move him up. And then Lockie Neal can catch the V. I think that sounds good. So there's no loophole. So do I play McCartan or Hinge? Hinge against Port, I think, slightly better than McCartan against the Dogs. Although last week when the Dogs played Melbourne, Bowie scored well. Wait, Bowie. I got to say Bowie. Bowie scored well. Uh-oh. Hammy, you got to get that working, bud. All right, so let's see. Last week. Oh, it was the Dogs against them last week, right? Okay, so... Oh, that's right, that was week 1. So, I mean, the defenders didn't really score well here. Sorry, I'm thinking wrong thing. These ones. Defenders didn't really score well here. Alright, so yeah, I think I'll play Hinge over McCartan. And then Dacos and Horn-Francis over Stevens makes sense against the Dogs. Dogs have got really good wingers, so I think that's going to be a rough one for him. Then, yep, this is fine. This is fine. Yep, okay. All right. Try and get to some questions at the same time. What do you think happens with Bruce? Way too risky to go for him instead of Wits. It's so hard to know what's going to happen with Bruce because last year, GWS did like one ruck in, one ruck out. They rotated him around every couple of weeks. So it's hard to know if, this is Bruce's spot to hold and he's going to get games or if they're just giving Flynn a rest and then he's going to come back. I honestly can't say what Lee and Cameron's going to do. The dude's a nutter. So, yeah, that's so hard for me to judge. I would wait until he's on the bubble before bringing in Bruce. I just think it's really risky to go for him, and especially over someone like Witts, who's looked good in his first 2 games back from ACL. His time on ground's low, but otherwise he's rucked all right. Surely Hayes gets a game. Yeah, he probably does get a game, but even if Hayes gets a game, if Ryder and Marshall are both playing as well, then Hayes is going to be parked forward. Potentially he's used around the ground. I don't know, we can have a look at the team to see who they dropped. Oh, they haven't dropped anyone yet, of course. I mean, I think it's these ones. So you've got Ryder at full forward, Marshall on the ball. Where's Hayes playing? Is he playing as another tall forward option in here? With what? Membry, King, Ryder, Hayes? Is he playing like tall wing? What role is he going to play in this team? That's the problem with Hayes R2. If he's playing full forward, That's like so sketchy. If he's playing like a tall midfield role, then that's awesome. But you just don't know. That's the risk. And if three talls don't work out for Saints this week, Hayes is the one they're going to drop over the other two. That's just how it is. That's the problem with Hayes at R2. Worth boosting to get Horn Francis for Berry? I don't think so. When you're weighing up those, right, like trade's worth 150k, Berry is going to make it probably 100k at least. Maybe he makes a little bit more. So Horn Francis would have to make 250k for that trade to be worthwhile, or like roughly around that. And do you think Horn Francis is going to make 250 and Berry's only going to make 100? If you do, then you can do the trade, but I probably wouldn't. What do I do with McGovern? You trade him out or you use him as a loophole? Heaney and even DeGoey, I think, are good options in the forward line if you already have Cherry, Rochelle, these types. Yeah, I would trade him. It's unfortunately a failed pick. Field, Stevens, or Ward at M8. So Hawks play Carlton. Ward's been up and down. I mean, I would go Stevens. I mean, he's averaging 33 points more. Even though the Dogs have been tough, Swans have been good. Maybe they win, and this is good. I think, Ward's going to struggle against that Carlton midfield. I'd be very surprised if he scores well. Thoughts on Whitfield and Berry to Cripps, Heaney, and Bowie? Bowie. I'm never going to be able to get that. Could then also use a trade boost and go Ridley to Hall. Thoughts on Whitfield and Berry to Cripps and yeah, I actually think those trades are probably fine. It's aggressive, but yeah, Whitfield, Berry, and Ridley to Cripps, Bowie, and Hall sounds good. I've got all the rookies other than Martin. Also have Hewitt already. Want to do Berry and Gov to Cripps and Martin. Yeah, going Martin a week early is probably fine, I'd say. I mean, I went 2 weeks early, so I'm not one to talk. English or Wits for Gorn. Simply put, if you think English is a forward keeper, English. If you're not sure, then Wits. Wit to Bowie or Gorn to English. Leftover cash is funding Cripps. If you think English is a keeper, then Gorn to English. If you don't, then Wits to Bowie. JD, will you be my emotional pillow and make the keeping Gorn pick okay? I mean, it is okay. You're just going to lose some money, but he's still probably the top ruck, like one of the top rucks. Who else is there? I think he'll come good. But I mean, it just, it depends on split time. And Melbourne's fixture is really easy. They should get a lot of wins. So I think his floor is reasonable, but we'll see. We'll see. How does Patrick Ryder still get a gig? He's a good tap ruckman. With Ryder in, would you rethink playing Hayes R2? Yes, I would rethink playing Hayes R2. I guess the other thing with what we've seen with a lot of teams, especially towards the top, is that two rucks seem to be working well. And Hayes is an undersized ruck. He really is more of a relief hitter. When he was in the ruck against like Meek and Darcy, which is a proper 1-2 combo, he got dominated pretty badly. So he just doesn't compare to someone like Ryder if they want that extra ruck option. Is Bowie a better option than Chapman, and is Stevens or Horn Francis worth a rookie correction trade? So Bowie is better than Chapman, and it's probably worth trading Chapman to Bowie. Stevens and Horn Francis are both worth correction trades. Now you put it like that, 250k on JHF doesn't seem too likely. We'll stick with Berry, thanks. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not going to feel good because I think Horn Francis will make more than Berry, but it's just, is it worth a trade at this point? If you haven't used any other trades, then probably it might be just because you get points on field, likely. But who knows? We're also banking on Horn Francis getting a go early, like a swap into the forward line, which would make him more valuable. Who knows that's going to happen? Will Caldwell get good mid-time with Merritt out? I think he will. I mean, he's not a like-for-like replacement with Merritt. The one that probably most is McGrath, but McGrath hasn't been good in the midfield. So I hope that we give more mid-time to Caldwell and probably Perkins as well. Gone to Wits or Whitfield to Bowie. Whitfield to Bowie's probably safer, but I don't mind going to Wits either. I think that's a personal preference. Thoughts on Gorn, Dusty, and McGovern to Hall, Cripps, and Cherry? Yeah, that sounds good to me. Uh-oh, I'm like losing chat. Where are you, bud? Seems like all your bench is playing, so you're gonna bother putting McRae Vice. No, I mean, even if I had loopholes, which I might with Dixon, I don't know, but I would still have this set up. Took into Neil, even though they've talked about playing a cooler on Neil. I think this is still what I would do. Yeah, who? Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe Dixon's are laid out. When does that get announced? Is it on Saturday? I think I'll be able to know before this game and or before the Collingwood game and swap that around. Worth a trade booster to Whitfield to Short? Yeah, I think so. I'm going with Gone and Owens to Cripps, Bowie, and Wits. Man, trying to analyze three for three trades is just like my brain's ticking over way too slow for this moment. Cash can be used next week. Would like to get Brody, but too risky for Hazar too. Yeah, I think you're right. Too risky for Hazar too. If St Kilda don't play Hayes, they're 100% tanking. I think they're going to play Hayes. I just don't know if he continues to play past this week. I don't know if his role is good. That's the problem. And by the way, this is someone that I have Hayes in this team. He's right here. I think it's unlikely. I'm probably going to have to trade him out in this format, which is fine because it's an easy format to do it in. I'm probably getting rid of Sin for... When do they play? Oh, we're not going to know teams by then. So ideally, I'd trade Sin to, I think, O'Driscoll. What's he in this format? 190k over Skinner. But I know Skinner's going to play. I don't know if O'Driscoll's going to play. I don't know for how long either. Should I get both Heaney and Cripps, or should I focus on getting Stevens and Brody for money-making reasons? I don't think Brody's a must-have. I would get Cripps and then I'd prioritize Stevens. Field, Rochelle, or Martin. Rochelle, I've just got a good feeling about in the showdown. He feels like a big game player to me. There's obviously like no evidence to back it up apart from just watching and gut feel. I think there's a chance he goes big against a Port team that's been pretty average. Martin has the safer role in the sense that he's going to be playing the wing and around the ground, and we saw him kind of accumulate in that first game where Rochelle is a little bit more dependent on the ball coming into the forward line, and given that he plays for the Crows, it's a bit sketch. So yeah, I'd say Martin's safer, but I don't know. I have a good feeling about Rochelle. Do you know if Marshall is getting enough forward time to get DPP? I can't imagine that he has so far because he's been primarily mid. I mean, maybe last week he wasn't as much. So no, I don't have an answer. We'll get a better idea in a couple of weeks. You're already up on 2 mid price over me because of the Wits trade. Yeah, like going Darcy to Wits pre-round 1 was pretty clutch in the end. Whitfield to Hall is a good trade, I would say. It's obviously risky with Hall's injury history, but yeah, I don't mind it at all. Hey JD, at the moment, Saligo and Gov to Cripps and Nick Martin. Can I keep Rids and Witt? You can keep Rids and Witt and just see what happens with them. There's a chance they both recover. But people are pretty aggressively trading him out, either because they missed Cripps, Heaney, or Hewitt, or to get one of them to Hall. But you don't have to. You just might end up with 2 underperformers. Cripps or Heaney, I would lean towards Cripps. Heaney is more likely to be a keeper, but if Cripps becomes a keeper and you miss him, then you're much further behind if Heaney becomes a keeper and you miss him. I'm holding Witt, yeah, Stefan. Oh, geez. Chat's gone too fast. I actually lost my spot now as well. It's so bad. Go on Whitfield and Gov to Cherry, Hewitt and English. Jason, go on Whitfield and Gov to Cherry, Hewitt and English. I mean, yeah, Cherry, Hewitt and English is all fine. Oh, I see. Like, you could get Cripps over English, but then you play Hazar too. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't like Hazar too. I'm not, like, super sold on English, but if you believe he's a keeper, then I think that's a really good trade. Do you consider going a pod now with the amount of people trading him? I don't know how many serious coaches are trading him out and how many are keeping him, so it's hard for me to say. I'm sure like there's some... where is it in here? Now, I'm not good with gold whatsoever. Is it if I go to players? Most traded out. So Gone's got 6.7% trading out. How many started him? Like 50% or something? Where's his ownership? Show me. Nope. 43%. So I don't know if that 43% is after this 8.6% traded him out or not. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely not a pod. Like a third of the competition at least still going to have him, if not more. Long, Kent, Joyce, and one of Burns or Wood goes out. I'm pretty confident Hay stays. Yeah, I'm pretty confident Hay stays as well for this week. But 3 tools have got to work for them. Otherwise, he's going to be the one that they drop unless he plays amazing again. Berry, Witt to Cherry Hall. That sounds good to me. I like Cherry in. He's probably the biggest must-have this week, I would say. Fielding, Rochelle, Hayes, or Martin this week. Unfortunately, no loops unless Dixon's out. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but I have to pick 2. So Hayes I would have last because I'm least sure of his role. Martin is the safe one just because of his role. And then Rochelle, I've just got a good feeling he's going to be a big game player, maybe kick a bag this week. So I think Martin's the safest. Cherry's got the... Martin's the safest. Rochelle's got the upside. Hayes is the one I would definitely place third just because of the unknown of the role. Is Cherry a must-have? I think Cherry is a must-have, yes. There's not too many people I'd prioritize getting in over Cherry at the moment. Is it worth trading Chapman to Bowie using a boost when I already have all the must-haves, just a luxury trade? Yes, I think so. I mean, Bowie's definitely going to make at least 100k. I don't know if Chapman's going to make much at all. Heaney is a good option, yes. Otherwise, De Goey is all right as well. I think he's got lots of CBAs. He's led Collingwood CBAs 2 weeks in a row. So even though Heaney plays for a better team, which means he's going to get lots of supply in the forward line, and then when Papley comes back in 6, he should continue to go on, maybe get more time in the midfield. With like De Goey, he's getting the role that we like, but he is potentially going to be like hampered by playing for a worse team. And also, like, he's not as must-have in the sense that Heaney's price is going to get away from you quickly, while De Goey's only going to go on like 100 so far, so he'll climb a little bit slower. Opinion on having Hayes as R2 for a week and then dropping him for Bruce. So why would you drop Hayes for Bruce? That doesn't seem like a great trade. I mean, it could be a side swap if Hayes gets dropped, but I think I just hold on to him until he gets games later on in the year because I don't think Ryder's going to play everything. So I wouldn't love that. And you're also assuming Bruce plays again next week, which I don't know is necessarily true. JD, do I get Hall, Cripps, and Brody on for Gawn, Paris, and Whitfield? Who is Paris? Is this a meme? Am I getting memed right now? It's a loophole. Jesus. Should I get Hall, Cripps, and Brody for Gawn, Paris, and Whitfield? Or should I go early on Nick Martin and bank an extra 120k me sound go Brody? You get Nick Martin next week and get Hall, Cripps, and Brody. Is Meek R2 too much of a risk, keeping in mind I'm just waiting for Cherry to get DPP? Yes, I think that is too much of a risk. Their preference in the past when Darcy's been healthy is to play one ruck. So if he comes back next week healthy, there's a chance Meek gets dropped, especially if Lob and who's the other 4 they're missing are available. You just know Gawn is going 130 this week against Essendon. I wouldn't be surprised. Although Draper's like not the easiest ruck to score on. Start Hinge or McCartan. I've got Hinge over McCartan at the moment. But it's a bit of a coin flip. I think they're both good picks. It'll just depend on the week. I mean, McCartan's gone 70 and 80 so far, so a bit hard to go against him, really. Oh, maybe I'm going to swap that back. Oh, I've only got 30 minutes to decide that. Who am I tipping tonight? I'll tip the Swans. I'm actually surprised Dogs are favourites. Thoughts on McGovern, Whitfield to Bowie, Cherry, Heaney? I wouldn't trade out Durden, but it looks like you have to facilitate the rest of the trade, so I think that's fine. Neil into Crisp. This sounds like a weird captain combo, but as you like. Oh, sorry, James. You skipped my first comment, lol. I'm not spamming the chat. I'm stuck on Ginnivan or Brody. I'd go Brody. I don't like... Ginnivan's role is much worse, even though Brody can't seem to run out of game. Thanks, Cause. So they're out at 2:30 on Saturday, which means I should know if Dixon's a loophole before both of these rucks play. What to do if Darcy's out? Well, you'll still be able to trade to Wits. So yeah, I guess that's what you would do. Or you could just wait another week, especially if you've got playing Hayes. Like, it's not ideal, but you can have him cover for a week. Assuming no loop, who's got the C? Currently, I've got it as Neil again. I don't see why I'd go off him. He's averaging 169, and North has got a depleted midfield. He should go ballistic. But I guess the risk is a lot of the Brisbane Lions midfield goes ballistic and his score gets diluted a bit. I'm not going to loophole this week because I don't have one, I don't think. Whitfield and Blakey to Bowie and Hall. I wouldn't trade Blakey. He's been fine so far. Or Whitfield and Berry to Bowie and Heaney. I don't know if that's worth trades. I honestly don't know if that's worth trades. I don't like going Berry to Bowie. And is like Whitfield to Heaney good enough that you'd use 2 trades to do that? I don't know. Probably not. Tom Mitchell plus Berry to Cripps plus Hewitt. Yeah, that sounds good, Carl. JD, who am I picking for F6? Rochelle, Martin, or Hayes? So I've kind of gone over this a couple of times, but I'd go Martin. I'm going Chad Warner in fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I think Chad Warner's a good option for fantasy. He picked up more CBAs. Otherwise, the other one I'd look at is Caldwell with no merit. I think he should get more mid-time. For me, George convinced me on Lipinski. Of course he did. It's his boy. And now that doesn't look like it's necessarily a great move. Oh, do I go Skinner or O'Driscoll? Because I don't think I need to trade anyone else. I could have moved on Whitfield, but he scored at 88. He wasn't terrible in this format. And then I think everything else is fine. Yeah, okay. Is Dixon likely to play this week? I think so, because was it Kennedy that's missing this week? If Grant wants to keep his job, he'll play Hayes. I don't know. I think he's going to lose his job anyway, unless St Kilda come out of this funk. Thoughts on these trades in Cripps, Cherry, Wanganeen Malira, or for Hoff, McInerney, and Gov? I mean, Cripps and Cherry I like. Trading out Hoff, McInerney, and Gov I like. I'm not sure about Wanganeen Malira. I would probably go Skinner over him, if I'm being honest. Trade Steele to get Heaney, Cripps, and Rowell. I don't like trading Steele, but those ins look pretty good. Lost my spot again. This chat is just so bad. Heaney or Cripps, Hewitt or Bowie. So Cripps, Hewitt. And like, it's not even close in my mind. Is leaking gone money and getting rid of potentially Barry money worth for getting Cripps? And that's so hard to say. I have to sit down and think about that. Gut reaction is maybe it's better to bet against Cripps and hope that Gorn bounces back. It just depends on what you like. Will, I hope O'Driscoll plays just because he looked really good last game and will be a great option to keep his spot. I think so too. Mitchell plus Ridley for Cripps and Hewitt. I like Mitchell and Ridley for Cripps and Hewitt. That sounds good. When's your debut Fortnite stream coming? There's no way I'm streaming Fortnite. I played a little bit and if anyone in Discord knows my KDR's nutso, but yeah, no, I don't like Fortnite. Don't like building. Opinion on the trade Gone Ward Whitfield to Heaney, Cripps, Bowie. I don't love it. Because it's like putting Hayes into the ruck just sounds so sketchy to me. I think you're going to leak so many on-field points. I would look at different trade options. I don't like trading out Ward either. Ridley, Whitfield, MyGov to Stewart, Hewitt, Cherry, or Ridley, Berry, MyGov. So it's Whitfield or Berry for Hewitt, Rao, Cherry. I would go Ridley, Berry, MyGov for Hewitt, Rao, and Cherry. Just get much better cash generation out of it. Out of Heaney, Hewitt, and Cripps, I got to grab two. Who do I get? Hewitt and Cripps is who I've gone. I can get English, but if I get Wits, it gives me the cash to go Berry to Heaney, Cripps next week. Are you sure you're going to be able to go Berry to Heaney or Cripps next week? They're going to move up a lot in money. But, I mean, yeah, if English is a keeper, go English. If you don't think he is, then go Wits. Reckon boosting Whitfield to Hewitt is worth it. Yes. Thanks, Carl. Should I keep Wit or get a pod? Don't get a pod for the sake of getting a pod. If you want to get out of Wit, but just pick whoever you think's best, not going after a pod. Is it too early to use trade boosts? I think as long as the trade makes sense, it's perfectly fine to use trade boosts at the moment. Like I haven't used mine, which is good. I can use it later, but I've also used 4 trades, which is really bad. So, yeah. Is it too early to use trade? No, so trade Gone to Wits. Gone to Wits. I mean, it's a cash grab, but you're going to have to trade back to Gone at some point. I think it's okay. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think Gone will bounce back too. So as long as going Gone to Wits like gets you keepers elsewhere, it's worthwhile. But I wouldn't do it just to bank cash and then just sit on it. Hugh Dixon is my only rookie loophole. Do you know anything about him this week? I think Dixon's playing. So I don't think I've got a loophole this week. I think everyone's going to play for me. Gone to Jackson. Nope. I'm getting rid of Whitfield because it's my best avenue to Cripps. That's fair enough. Would you go Clary, VC into Neil? Yes, I think both the Demons players in Petrarca and Oliver are good vice captains this week against Essendon. Given what we saw Neil do last week in Dangerfield in week 1. How long do you hold Wits for? Oh, I see. You don't have a loophole. Yeah, I mean, you could straight see Clary as a upside pick. It's just, yeah, it might burn you. I don't know. Neil feels safer to me at the moment, given the form that he's in. How long do I hold Wits for? So I think the good thing about Wits is he actually plays through the buys in like a good spot. Is that right? Yeah. So I don't know. It could be like as late as after this buy. Or it will just be when he tops out in cash and when maybe someone like Gawn's bottomed out, I'll do a side swap then. So it'll just kind of depend on how the season goes. I mean, maybe he goes down with an injury this week and I'm trading him out next week. Yeah, a bit hard to predict at the moment. Is Whitfield, Jelly, and McGovern to Brayshaw, Bowie, and Cripps worth it? I don't think Jelly to Brayshaw is worth it. Whitfield and Bowie to McGovern and Cripps is probably worth it, yeah. I think McGovern you got to get out this week. Is it worth trading Durden to Brody? I don't think so. Going Gov to Stevens, SDK to Bowie. Was fortunate enough to start Hewitt and Cripps. Gov to Stevens, SDK to Bowie. Oh, I wouldn't be trading out SDK. I just go Gov to Stevens and sit on it, personally. Why aren't I sold on English? Dogs have gotten spanked the first 2 weeks with English in the ruck, and he's been dominated. Well, first week he was all right against D's. Last week he got dominated pretty badly by, I would say, average Carlton rucks. I think they would play Stephen Martin this week if he wasn't under health and safety protocols, which is what the rumour is. So, yeah, I just don't know how long he continues to play as solo ruck. And as soon as he's not solo ruck, he's not a top 6 forward anymore in my mind. McGovern for Cherry or Brody? Cherry, easy. Gone to Jackson? No. I don't think Jackson's going to keep it up. I think he's we're still a year or 2 away from him breaking out good and proper. When Gawn retires, Jackson is going to be a serious option, though, for Supercoach. A lot of people will be jumping on him that year, understandably, too. McGovern to Cherry, Berry to Cripps, and either Whitfield to Hall or Chapman to Bowie. McGovern to Cherry, yes. Berry to Cripps, yes. And either Whitfield to Hall or Chapman to Bowie. Which one's a more required fix? Whitfield to Hall, I would probably go. It's a bit risk on, but that's probably what I'd do. Trade Steele to get Cripps, Heaney, Rao. Yeah, I think I answered that one yes already. Is Nick Martin playing? Yes, he is. He's named on a half-forward flank, but I'm sure he'll be playing up around the wing or like rotating into the wing. What's worse? No Cripper. Nice try. Should I trade Steele or Berry to get Neil? You should trade Berry and keep Steele. Stuck on Brody and Guinea. Current trades: Whitfield, Berry, Gov to Hewitt, Cripps, Guinea or Brody. I would trade to Brody over Ginnivan. Anyone know if Sean Darcy is in or out? We don't know. They've just said I think as a test, basically, was just doing laps today. He wants to play. It was a rolled ankle, so if he doesn't play this week, it'll be next week. What's your rookie loophole this week? There is no rookie loophole this week. I think everyone's playing, which is good. Need the money. Trust me, we need the money more than we need loopholes. When it gets to upgrade season, I'm going 15 trades in 5 weeks. Like three trades every round as long as there's downgrade options. I'm going to be harvesting as much money as I can and getting premium as quick as I can. I want money over like 30 extra points. Should I trade out Hoff or Saligo? Saligo. Hoff might still play. Should I keep Witt or get a pod? Oh, I think I answered that one already. Go on to Jackson. Oh, wait, I've definitely answered that one already. What's happens? Who's the bigger must-have of Cripps of Heaney? It's Cripps. Why is Jackson worse than English? Well, English is solo ruck, Jackson's not. And English has shown at least somewhat premium scoring in the past. Jackson hasn't done it yet. That'd be like the two reasons people would point to. Thoughts on trading out both Marshall and Steele this week? Don't have any way to get all 3 of Hewitt, Cripps, and Heaney. I would probably look at trading. I'd consider trading Marshall, depending on who you get in. I don't think I'd trade Steele. Cripps is probably the one that I would prioritize, but Hewitt's right up there as well. Heaney, I think you can pass on. I like, even if I could trade boost Whitfield to Heaney this week, I'm not sure I would. Bruce to tower up Wits in the ruck this week. I don't think so. I think it's going to be the holy trinity of Wits, Rowell, and Took that are gonna get the chockies. I should say Took, which is what it is. It's Luke with a T. Took. Luke Took. Yeah. Is Nick Martin a must-have, even if all my rookies are good? Never had my team work out this well early. DK, I'm happy for you, man. That's a good spot to be in. You can wait for Nick Martin next week and see what happens and reevaluate then, because he's not going up in price this week. So you can wait and see another week. Maybe he gets dropped, maybe he gets injured and he's not a must-have. Or maybe you have someone in your team that does fall off next week and you can correct to Nick Martin pretty easy. But yeah, he's going to make some good money. So I think whoever's underperforming the most for you next week, I'd be ditching for Nick Martin. McGovern to Stevens, Whitfield, Bowie, buried any mid, probably Petrarca. Already have Took, Cripps, Neil, McRae. Wow, that's a good spot to be in. Yeah, Petrarca against Essendon's going to look good. Their fixture's pretty soft as well. I probably have him ahead of Brayshaw in Supercoach at the moment, but I love Spray as an option as well. Thoughts on Gone, Whitfield, Hollands to Jackson, Sicily, Heaney. I don't like the Jackson trade-in personally. I don't like Sicily trade-in either, so that's a no from me, Jonathan. Hall v Hewitt plus 173k can get Heaney next week. I would go the Hewitt option personally. Bitcoin, Ethereum. I hold more Ethereum at the moment, although I've held both in the past. Currently going Ridley, Berry, McGovern to Skinner, Cripps, Heaney. Any thoughts? I don't love trading in Skinner this week, but getting Cripps and Heaney seems pretty good, so it's fine. And you got to get rid of McGovern anyway. I mean, if you could just do like Ridley to Bowie and McGovern to Cripps or Heaney, that's probably the preferred. But if the only way you can get rid of Cripps is like doing that, getting Cripps doing that, then that's fine, Confel. I've put this on Cripps just in case North send Greenwood to Neil. I mean, yeah, that's true. I think Cripps is just risky because we've only seen him be back for 2 games. So I would love to have the V on Cripps with a loophole this week. Anyone that has like Cripps and Brayshaw, that's a great little one too. Hold Taranto or bring in Heaney. Heaney over Taranto. Thoughts on Bailey to Heaney, Hill to Bowie. Who is Hill? Don't tell me this is like Stephen or Brad. Wouldn't be Bobby. Wouldn't be that one. Got to be Brad, right? Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. I would do that, Travis. G'day there, mate. Looks like there's a few new rookies this week. There are, yeah. Wait and see the next couple of weeks. Trade Ridley or Whitfield. I'm trading Ridley, keeping Whitfield, but I think move on whichever one you're less comfortable with. First trades of the year, Ridley to Hall. That sounds good. Whitfield to Hewitt, like that. And Ralph Smith to Bowie via McCutton. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I don't think Ralph Smith to Bowie is worth it as long as Ralph Smith continues to get games. He scored decently well last week, and I thought he looked okay too. Yeah, I think he's going to get games. I wouldn't be trading Ralph Smith to Bowie. I don't think that's worthwhile. All right. All right, I'm stopping questions to think at Harry Stein. I'll try and get to there. Because I'm going to watch the game. Whitfield out, Bowie in, Berry. Whitfield out, Bowie in, Berry out, Cripps in, McGovern out, Jackson in. Thoughts? I don't like trading Jackson in. I don't particularly love Bowie, so I'd go back to the drawing board on that. Witts or Jackson? Witts for mine. Ridley, Berry, and Durden to Bowie, Cripps, and Cherry. Or no. I would definitely get Cherry in. Wait, or Berry to Cherry and hold the other two trades. Oh, so Durden to Bowie is like pretty sketchy, but Ridley to Cripps is good. Yeah, I'd still probably do it, Josh. Have all of Cripps, Rowe, Cherry. Rowe? Who's Rowe? That was a must-have last year, maybe. Cripps, Rowe, Cherry, Stevens, Horn-Francis, and Dacos. Sounds good. Whitfield gone and Berry in Cripps, Heaney, English, or Cripps, Heaney, and Hall. Which one do you think is a better option? I mean, Cripps, Heaney, and Hall are better ins, but I'm worried that means you're playing Hayes R2, which I don't think is good. Who to get in the backline for 40k? Already have Hewitt. Maybe you could go speculative on Sinclair. Yeah. So he, let's go this one. We look at St Kilda CBAs. He did 32. I think he moved in the second half, and then he played 71% last week. So if Sinclair keeps that role, he's probably value at his price. So yep, Sinclair would be the one that's top of mind under 480k if you already have Hewitt. But I mean, that's pretty speculative. I don't know if that's going to work out or not. Two must trades with Meza and McGovern. I don't know who Meza is. That's a nickname. I don't know. Injuries and Whitfield, a luxury for Brayshaw, Cripper, and Bowie. That sounds good. I mean, those trades sound good. Can you activate trade boost after the first lockout? Yeah, you should be able to. I don't see why you wouldn't, because you can continue to trade after first lockout. I went and gone to English. I'm so scared. My lineup is Whitson, English. Pray for me, dude. Why wouldn't you go on to Grundy? I guess it opened up things for you elsewhere. That's a scary ruck line, dude. Scary ruck line. Who to prioritize? Horn-Francis or Stevens? I think I'd have Stevens ahead of Horn-Francis just because he's 40k cheaper, mature age, but I think there's arguments for Horn-Francis as well. What were my trades this week? Jake, my trades were Ridley and McGovern to Cripps and Hewitt. Yeah, like I'm quite far behind on rankings because I didn't have Hewitt, Cripps, or Heaney, but I think the team looks pretty good after those trades this week. Got all the rookies. Structure's not too bad. I think having Crisp and Whitfield down back instead of like Hall and Stewart's not great, but everything else is kind of looking decent. Haven't used any trades yet. Thinking of going Owens, Witt, and Rids to Hall, Hayes, Hall, and Hewitt. That sounds good to me. Titanium Squid sound like really solid trades. Only way to get in Cripps is to trade Steele. It goes against my rules, but my reasoning is I'll bank 250k IMO worth a trade. I mean, if Cripps is a keeper, then yes, that trade is 100% worth it. If Cripps doesn't end up being a keeper, you're going to regret it. You convinced us to go Ridley, and you're one of the first off. Lol. I'm riding the wave. Wish me luck. Yeah, Ridley could bounce back. Essendon's game plan just hasn't been conducive to scoring, and that was the thing I didn't anticipate, that we would start going much more direct out of defense rather than playing sideways like we have last year, which was successful for us. So, yeah, unfortunately, can't get them all right, and Ridley is one that looks like I'm going to take a bath on. I was right on Hewitt, and I just selected the wrong one to start with. I could have gone Hewitt and saved myself 130k in the bank. It's just crazy. Is going Witt to Dawson a waste of a boost? No, I don't know. It depends on how Dawson plays out. Could be okay. I would rather go Hall or Stewart, though. They're a bit safer than Dawson. Worth doing a boost to go Mitchell, McGovern, and Kelly for Cripps, Hewitt, and Cherry. Yep, those trades look good to me. You're getting 2 keepers for 1, and you're getting a better mid-price, like cash generator, Hayden. So yes, those trades are good. Berry to Stevens. I think you can go Berry to Stevens. I don't know if I'd boost to do it. Yeah, Berry to Stevens sounds good to me. North has said they're tagging Neil. They haven't said that they're tagging Neil. They said they would send a cooler to Neil if he got out of control for like 10, 15 minutes is what the quote was. But he has to get hot enough for them to actually want to cool him. So read into that what you will. Do I use a trade boost to get out of Gone? No. Because, if you're sideways and Gone to Grundy, then that's fine. But for everything else, it's just a cash gem. And if you're not putting the money to use, you're probably going to fall behind on points. Oh. Dude, did someone donate money? Holy. Censor myself. Thank you to Will Crooks. Oh, man. Can I just say, that's the first time anyone's ever given to me, money for, a live stream or anything. So, Will, you're a legend forever, mate. Whitfield and Berry out to Cripps and Hewitt, or Gone, McGovern, and Chapman out to Bruce, Heaney, and Hewitt. Hold on. Whitfield and Berry out to Cripps and Hewitt. That sounds good. Or Gone, McGovern, Chapman out to Bruce, Heaney, and Hewitt. So, I would do the first one, the Whitfield and Berry out to Cripps and Hewitt, just because I'm so unsure on whether Bruce is going to get a second game, how he's going to go, whether he can even survive a game. So, and I prefer Cripps to Heaney as well. So I would go with that first trade, save your trade. Or if you wanted to move on Chapman, you could always go Chapman to Bowie, which I don't love, but it might be better just to wait a week on trading out Chapman and go down to a Skinner or a defensive rookie next week. So yeah, I would lean towards the first of those two and just ride the Gone trade. I guess the only thing as well, though, is that McGovern is out injured. So if you go Whitfield and Berry to Cripps and Hewitt, is there anything you can do with McGovern? If you don't have Cherry, then I'd definitely boost to Cherry. I'd even consider boosting to Brody in that situation. Or if you missed out on another rookie, I'd go elsewhere. Otherwise, McGovern and Chapman, you're potentially trading next week to fix up. Maybe if you don't have Nick Martin, then you're going McGovern to Nick Martin and Chapman to someone next week. But yeah, going Bruce this week scares me. I probably wouldn't be a fan of doing that. But yeah, thank you again, Will. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, dude. Worth doing a boost to go. Oh, yeah, I answered that one. Oh, but Sam, thank you, dude. This is insane. Gone, Mead, Baldwin to Cripps. Bowie or Bowie? Bowser. Bowie. Cripps, Bowie, and Brody. Wait, now, trying to get his names right, it's mess my train of thought. So Gone, Mead, Baldwin to Cripps, Bowie, and Brody. Hayes R2. Or Gone, Baldwin, and Berry to Witts, Cripps, and Brody. I like Gone, Baldwin, and Berry to Witts, Cripps, and Brody, I think. Yeah, because I don't want Hazer R2. So I would go your second one there of Gone, Baldwin, and Berry to Witts, Cripps, and Brody. Thanks, man. All right. Rayner and Berry for Cripps and Nick Martin. Those trades look good to me. Watch Gone go gangbusters against Draper. He could do, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne absolutely dominates Essendon and they have 10 players that ton up. Berry to Stevens, McGovern to Brody, Chapman to Bowie, Hinge. Or all 3 or 2? I think I think you could do all 3 of those, but you probably don't have to. So Chapman to Hinge. Yeah, I would go Berry to Stevens. Yeah, I would do all 3. Chapman to Hinge, Berry to Stevens, McGovern to Brody, Jara. Witt and Berry for Cripps and Bowie. Witt and Berry for Cripps and Bowie. Yep, that sounds fine. I mean, I don't love doing Berry to Bowie, but Witt to Cripps is pretty clutch, I think. Whitfield, Bowie, Berry, Brody, and Sligo Heaney. Those trades look good, James. I think they're fine. Steele goes huge this week. Tigers always leak points opposition midfielders. Yeah, I think that's a real risk with trading Steele out, that he has a big week this week. He hasn't looked amazing the first couple of games, but the fact he still had 13 tackles last week shows that the effort's there, if nothing else. Why did you trade Ridley over Whitfield? I don't have the money to trade out Whitfield, so it was a pretty easy choice for me. But Whitfield still had over 20 touches both games. He was tagged a little bit last week, or at least they put people to him, Richmond did, just to limit his ability to like work off the back of stoppages. I just think he hasn't played particularly great, and GWS haven't been great, so I'm more hopeful that changes than the Ridley problem, which is where Ridley just Ridley played well the first 2 weeks. Like, he was, I think, in the coaches' votes around the best on last week. No, not in the coaches' vote, best on. But the role where it's just not going to be as good because Essendon's just going straight at defenses, no kick to kick. So with Ridley, I think we're kind of banking on Essendon's game plan changing in the back half for him to get more ball, which I'm not sure is going to happen. Thinking of trading Gawn for Jackson to free up cash to bring in Rao. What do you think? Thanks. I would personally prioritize Witts over Jackson. I just think Witts is more likely to make money. I think Jackson's going to be more up and down, but he could score really well against Essendon, even if he does play more forward this week. There's a lot of people that love Jackson. Maybe I'm just a little bit behind on buying into the hype. So that's one for you, Niz. I definitely want to bring in Rao if I'm in your shoes. So Gawn to Jackson or Witts in order to bring in Rao works for me. Others may not like that as much because you're basically going 1 premium to 2 mid prices, which is definitely risky. But with the extra trades and Gawn having such a high break even, I think we can do that this year and it not backfire on us. The worst case scenario would be for you that Gawn goes 130, 140 this week and Jackson drops to 60. So you just have to think about how you'd feel about that. Or similarly, like if you went to Witts and Witts did a 60 and Gawn went 140, how you'd feel about that. But yeah, bringing in Rao seems like a good use of money for mine. So I would probably still prioritize Witts over Jackson. But if you love Jackson, then go for it. Yeah, I think back yourself on it. All right, Wittenberry for Cripps and Bowie. Wittenberry for Cripps and Bowie. Wait, I think I did this one already. Where am I up to? Still goes huge this week. Why did you trade Ridley? All right, thoughts on Meek. So if Darcy was out for a long period of time, then Meek would have been a really interesting trade and option, having gone back-to-back 80s for a 260k price tag, and would be really interesting downgrade option instead of Bruce. But the reality is Darcy's going to be back next week. Meek's job security isn't amazing while Darcy's around, so I think it's a really hard one to trade in. Do I use a trade boost to get out of Gawn? Yeah, only if you can do something good with the cash, but if it's just Gawn to Witts and you're sitting on 300k, I probably wouldn't. Who needs to go more, Gawn or Whitfield? I think probably Gawn. But it's hard because Gawn probably still ends up being a top 2 or 3 ruck. Whitfield may not even be a top 10 defender at his downside. Gawn to Witts, Sligo to Cripps, Gov to Brody. Looks good to me. What should I do with McGovern? Thinking of keeping him for the next week for Loop this week and trade him to Mutton next. I mean, yeah, you can definitely do that. If you've got no other problems, then keeping him as a Loop this week and then trading him to Nick Martin after watching another week makes sense. That I have no problems with that at all. Trade out Mead or Hoff to Cripps. Well, Mead we know isn't playing, right? He didn't get a... Because he... Oh no, Mead's playing. All right, so hold on to Mead and trade out Hoff. I think that's pretty simple. Otherwise, can you wait for that game? No, you can't. Yeah, I mean, I think you know Mead's playing, so I'd keep him. So trade out Hoff. Have you tipped tonight? I don't do tipping. Yeah, I just don't enjoy it that much. I never really have. But if I was to tip, I'd tip the Swans. I've got MyGov to Martin and that bozo from Saints to Stevens and Whitfield to Hall. Thoughts? MyGov to Martin and that bozo from Saints to Stevens and Whitfield to Hall. Thoughts? I don't know who that bozo from the Saints is. If you're talking about Steele, that seems like you'd have a lot of cash banked. The trades aren't bad. It's just, yeah, what are you going to do with the money next week? Rid or Gone or Whitfield? Rid of Gone or Whitfield? Yeah, I will answer this one already. Jackson over Wits. I'd have Wits over Jackson, but if you like Jackson, back yourself. If you had to pick two to field of McCartan, Hinge, and Bowie, I'd pick McCartan and... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I think I'd play Bowie against Essendon, and then this is a coin flip, McCartan or Hinge. I think I'll back Hinge again. Who were Adelaide's ins? They got Scholl and Dawson and Hinge. No, he should be rotating with them. I think it's fine. I don't know. Maybe this is better. Did we see if there's late changes? No late changes. Okay. Yeah, it's a coin flip. I don't think you can go wrong. You just pick whichever one you like more. Thoughts on McGovern and Gone to Heaney in English. McGovern and Gone to Heaney in English. Yeah, if you think English is a keeper, it's fine. But I personally don't love it. I would be trading Gone to Grundy and figuring out if you can do something else with McGovern. Thoughts on Berry, Gone, McGovern to Neil Witts, Brody. Yep, that looks good to me. Whitfield and McGovern to Heaney and Bowie. Yeah, I think that's okay. Cripps or Heaney, Cripps for me. Field, Martin or Rochelle. Rochelle for upside, Martin for safety. I'd probably pick Martin. English or Witts or Jackson. I'd go Witts, then English and Jackson. But if you think English is a keeper, then English, Witts, Jackson in that order. Gone, Mead and Baldwin to Cripps, Bowie and Brody. Hazar too. Oh, I think I answered this one already, Sam. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, this was the $5, man. Yeah, so 2 on that one. Which rookie do I start, Skinner or DeConning? Or game's going to start. This advice is going sour real quick. So I would start Skinner. Yeah, probably Skinner. And who? Actually, yeah, probably Skinner. And who do I field? Stevenson, Dacos. Should I field? Oh, it's field Dacos. And then passing on Cripps. It's a risk, but you can do it. He might not work out as a primo. Thoughts on Berry and Witt to Cripps and Bowie? Berry and Witt to Cripps and Bowie. Yep, that looks fine to me. And then Harry, who was going to answer last. Thoughts about using a boost to get Berry to Brayshaw or Whitfield to Hall? Oh, where did it go? Thoughts about using a trade boost to get Berry to Brayshaw or Whitfield to Hall. I'd go Whitfield to Hall over Berry to Brayshaw. All right, that's it. Game's on. I'm going to go watch the footy. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Thanks for stopping by, asking questions, having a chat. Good time as always, and I'll see you in the video next week, I guess. Peace.